and stuff. So this guy's gonna have like maybe a different perspective. Like when we go over this flyer right here, it says what this next pink slip might be yours. Blah blah blah. Demand Congress support President's call to invest in American jobs. Pass tax increases. These are petitions for the government. That's protest. Anarchists go beyond protest. They actually call for direct action, which means that like if you're in a community that doesn't have drinking water, you can petition the government to solve your problems, or you could go dig a well. The anarchists would say just dig the well. So just do the action. They don't like some concepts like work, like jobs. They're a little bit beyond that because they actually criticize the capitalist system. So this is asking for like capitalism to give us more jobs. Whereas a little bit deeper conversation would be perhaps this is the nature of the system, that it creates scarcity, that's artificial, that it creates competition, which is artificial. And capitalism would promote the idea of like mutual aid, that we don't have to have such a competitive economy, and we don't have to have an economy based on resource scarcity. And that's the type of stuff we're going to talk to this guy about. But it's interesting because these are different levels of the discussion, and what I'm learning is you can't just engage everyone on the street with that type of discussion, but we do have to have that type of discussion. A deep ecology of thought in a movement. So
there has to be some kind of organization behind.
Well, it could happen organically. It doesn't have to be organized. It just has to be a diverse conversation that we're having.
Right.
That's the enemy is the monoculture. Is when everyone's saying the same thing. If we're all just asking for more jobs, then we're not having a movement. We're not having an actual revolution. But if some people are asking for jobs from that side of the spectrum, all the way down to some people are imagining alternatives to power structures and to society, and that's when we're going to get real change. When we have like this diverse ecology, like this diverse garden, this whatever you want to call it, like all of these ideas coming out, and then the intermix between those, and that's what creates, I think, actual change in a society. Is you have like that fermenting of all these ideas, from like more jobs to even questioning the concept of jobs, and that's what we're going to try to like capture a little bit, like a wide range of opinions.
I mean, I'm excited. I don't think I've met an anarchist before, so.
Exactly, and then also a lot of people just see anarchism as like a black bloc or like violence or
terrorists.
Yeah. Because some people, like revolution just means a big change, and some people think that in order to have a big change, you have to just push violently. And the anarchists, they just say, well, we want to empower you to change things. So they don't really look down on the violence. They just say whatever your tactics you choose. So some people just look at like the anarchists who choose to fuck shit up. But then there's also anarchists who believe that violence is, like myself, that it's not an efficient way to achieve change.
Violence.
Yeah. I mean, we're at a point in society where like 100 years ago, the anarchists they killed President McKinley. They were bombing Chase Manhattan Bank right down the street.
Really?
They set a bomb on Chase Manhattan Bank, and you could still see on the structure in front, you can see the damage, because the owner of the building, he said, I'm not going to fix that because I want to show it as a testament that we survived that bombing. So you can actually still see the damage that the anarchists did. So, but that was 100 years ago when they were shooting people for organizing. People were organizing for an 8-hour workday, and the government was killing them. So it was a different world. Nowadays, we have so many tools at our disposal. Violence is sort of like an inefficient means of communication.
Interesting.
I mean, the government starts killing us, and then I'm sure people will start thinking differently. But we haven't exhausted our options yet. It's like a lot of people bring up. I mean, I'm going on a tangent, like Gandhi, nonviolence. He stood on the backs of generations of struggle in India, and they tried to always get him to condemn violence. And he just basically said, and he's on record quoted as saying this, I'm paraphrasing, but he's not going to condemn violence because he believed non-violence was the best action against injustice, but violence is still better than non-action. So he said even those people who are being violent are still doing better than the people who aren't doing anything at all. He just believed that his tactic of non-violence was the most mature tactic. But while he was doing non-violence, there were people assassinating government officials in India, and he wasn't condemning them.
That's interesting.
Like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. really condemned Malcolm X, and Malcolm X would openly state when people would be violent to MLK in the South, he would write letters to the KKK saying, if you guys mess with this protest, I will come full force with my supporters from the North. And we're not, our hands aren't tied by this non-violent tactic that Martin Luther King Jr. preaches. So when we come down there, we will retaliate with maximum force if necessary if you're violent against these people. So that type of dialogue has always been going on, that you've had non-violence, but you've also had other people who use other tactics. And that's why we call in our movement a diversity of tactics. That's sort of what people are questioning right now, whether we should come out openly and just state that we're nonviolent, which might exclude some people from the movement. So, and that's a project I want to write about, is the diversity of thought in the movement, and whether we're going to maintain that, or whether I feel that there's like a push right now for ideological purity, and then also gentrification. What is a protester? We're not here to feed the homeless, and maybe they don't have a place in our movement. And we're not here to be violent, and maybe the people who believe that we're at that level don't have a place in our movement, stuff like that. Where's the identity right now, and then where it's going. So, that'll be good stuff, man.
I like it.
And fuck Monsanto. We're not supposed to be drinking Starbucks or McDonald's. That'll be good.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, yeah, this is cutting edge. We're at the cutting edge right here. We're at the
we're at Wall Street, man. It all started right across the street. About 6 months ago, right across the street, all this craziness started. That's crazy to think about. Like before 6 months ago, you didn't have an Occupy movement. Now you have thousands of occupations all across the country. In my hometown, Loma Linda, California, they just shut down a Walmart distribution center just on February 29th. I would have never thought this thing would have made it to Loma Linda. It's like a conservative inland empire an hour outside of LA.
all over the world.
That congressman who holds a seat for that area is one of the most secure Republican congressmen in the House. He re-elected year after year, sits on the House and the Appropriations Committee, Jerry Lewis. One of the most corrupt and secure congressmen. It's just like the epitome of what's wrong in like politics. Just you get entrenched, you build your little fiefdom, and no one can challenge your authority. And yet in his district, Occupy organized and shut down the largest retailer in the world, Walmart. And that started across the street, this idea. And all it was an idea. It's really crazy, man.
I like it.
All right, well, I don't know, we'll turn the camera on you sometime, maybe. Ask you your thoughts.